You can.
Great. Hi, my name is Deane. I'm at the Sony booth at imagingUSA 2025. Walter, my good friend, stopped me and said, hey, before we set up the show, can we maybe meet at the booth and tell us about a couple of products that you guys are working on? So we have a smaller booth this year at imagingUSA. We're really focusing on supporting our pro support members with camera cleanings and gear loans and questions. However, we did bring our two latest cameras, flagship cameras, as well as the latest in our lens lineup, which is the 28-70 f2 lens. Pretty significant lens in the market, and what you'll see is that I brought the older, this is the original 24-70 f2.8 G Master, not the G Master Mark II. And when you compare these two lenses, they're very similar in size, but most importantly, they're almost the same in weight. So if you were used to carrying a 24-70 f2.8 G Master, you can now carry a 28-70 f2 G Master and not have additional weight that you're carrying around. Compared to other lenses on the market, this is extremely light, it's extremely fast, it's extremely high quality. What you expect from G Master, really top level optics, so very sharp image, but also beautiful bokeh. And what you can get out of the f2 is obviously a lot greater light gathering capabilities, as well as shallow depth of field. So now, instead of walking around with maybe an f1.8 prime lens, you can walk around with a zoom lens that's f2 and capture those shallow depths of field, capture in very low light situations. So an incredible lens to add to our lineup. Hopefully we're going to start seeing more f2 lenses in the future, because this is just an absolutely beautiful lens. I have this paired with the Alpha 1 Mark II. This was announced just in November 2024. This is an incredible step up in the lineup. So previous year, we came out with the Alpha 9 Mark III, major upgrades. You know, you have a lot of different features that have been carried through from bodies from other cameras like the Alpha 7R Mark V, as well as AI functionality. And with the Alpha 1, we enhance that even further. We take all those enhancements that we put onto the Alpha 9 Mark III and we bring them into the Alpha 1 Mark II. So what you have here is the typical Alpha 1 sensor, 50 megapixel backside illuminated, 8 times faster readout speed than a regular sensor, so close to global shutter, not quite what an Alpha 9 can do. However, you got 50 megapixels. You can shoot at 30 frames a second. You can do 4K video up to 120p without any compromises. You can do 8K up to 30p. So an incredible hybrid camera that is unlike anything else. Now the updates is the new body style, right? So it uses the Alpha 9 Mark III body style. We have the fully articulating, tilting, articulating LCD screen that everybody loves. This is an incredible screen you can view from almost any angle, as well as a couple of other body features like the customizable boost button that we have on the Alpha 9 Mark III. Now it comes to the Alpha 1 Mark II. If I'm shooting in high frame rate, let's say for instance I'm shooting in burst rate at 10 frames a second and I suddenly see some action, I can hit that button and it'll suddenly jump to 30 frames a second. This also includes features like pre-capture. But the main update on this camera is the dedicated AI chip, and that has really advanced features for tracking both focus, auto white balance, and exposure. So it can recognize different types of skin tones. It can recognize different types of colors and objects and adjust the white balance accordingly. It can recognize if you're shooting a person and what your exposure compensation needs to be and adjust that automatically if you're automatically adjusting exposure. But most importantly, it has a super advanced algorithms in the artificial intelligence chip to be able to track focus. And this has everything from subject tracking recognition with human form estimation. It can track planes, trains, cars, birds, animals, people, you name it. And the latest update with our AI chip is it'll automatically select those if you put it in auto mode. You can also go into the menu and select which ones you prioritize, which ones you would rather have it select as well. So really advanced system. And you know, I think for most wedding photographers or professionals, the combination of these two cameras, the Alpha 9 Mark III global shutter, has its major advantages. Shooting up to 1/80,000th of a second and no flash sync speed required, right? So because it's a global shutter, there's no focal plane shutter opening and closing, and it can essentially shoot without high-speed sync. So for wedding photographers or event photographers or journalists who need to use flash, 24 megapixels, being able to shoot at 120 frames per second, but also being able to sync with a flash at any shutter speed, just makes that camera truly amazing. Videographers, again, 8K, 4K 120 with 30 frames per second still shooting, and 50 megapixels on the Alpha 1. On the Alpha 9 Mark III, there's global shutter, which means you can do up to 4K 120p. You can shoot without any rolling shutter at all. So a global shutter means that the sensor turns on and off. It doesn't have a rolling shutter effect. Zero banding, zero flicker. It's an incredible camera to use in many different situations. I know a lot of sports photographers shooting in stadiums where there's a lot of different types of light, electronic billboards and that type of thing. You won't get any of that with the Alpha 9. So very, very, very versatile camera. Wish you were here. Make sure you check out Sony Alpha Universe. And for all things Sony, please come and see us again.